Hello, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Artemov. I'm 27 years old. I came here to South Florida about a year ago from a cold and distant and vast country of Russia to pursue my career in tech. And now, thanks to Boca Code and 4 gigs, I'm a software engineer. So, for a pretty big part of my life, I've been a scriptwriter, a broadcast journalist, and a media producer. So, I always had a passion for storytelling and stories in general. And I enjoyed it the most when I had the free time with my friends and my colleagues to write those stories. But I always felt that we didn't have a platform where we could effectively store those stories, engage with each other, and collaborate on them. So I came up with an idea of an app called Tale Together, which actually speaks for itself. So that would be a platform where we could effectively interact with other writers to develop diverse narratives. So let me take you to the app that I built. It's called Tale Together, and it brings you to the website. So here you can see 9 different stories that were created by other writers, and let's say that you really like horror stories, so you can actually click on the horror and filter through all the stories to select horror stories. If you like adventure, you select adventure, and you can see those. But me personally, I really like sci-fi stories, so I will select sci-fi, and here I can see a story called The Odyssey of Enlightenment. It's a story about 13 warriors who embarked on a quest to discover the vault of absolute technical knowledge. So this story very much reminds me of what we went through in Boca Code during those 10 weeks. So I'm very engaged by this story, and I would like to contribute to it. So I click on the story, and I can now see the chapter page. So here you can see an AI-generated image for the first chapter. I used DALL-E OpenAI model to generate that. And as I'm scrolling down, I can see the content of the first chapter, the title, the description, and the content itself. So as I'm scrolling down, I can see that those 13 warriors have been through a lot. So they've been through the desert of paradoxes, they were challenged by tech puzzles and traps, and they had a lot going on. They went through incredibly big techno jungles, but they actually made it through. So I want to write a chapter about that. That would be the 4th chapter. So for demonstrational purposes, I already have it pre-filled, but you can actually go ahead and delete what is pre-filled or modify that. And I want to actually summarize it and say that the journey of itself was as significant as the destination. That's the main idea of this chapter. So when I press on the Add Chapter button, I can immediately see the chapter appearing. So I'm almost a couple of steps away of automating the process of generating AI images right there on the website using the DALL-E model and OpenAI API, and I'm planning to finish that in the nearest time. So let me talk to you about the tech stack that I use to build out this whole app. I used the MERN stack. I chose Mongo as my database. I used Express and Node.js to build out my API, and I used OpenAI API. For the front end, I used React.js and CSS. And a big part of my project was Amazon Web Services. So I used Amazon S3 bucket to deploy my front end to. I used Amazon EC2 instance to deploy my backend to. I used AWS CloudFront to manage data of millions of aspiring writers who are going to use my app. I used AWS Route 53 to set up the domain name and routing for the users. And I received my SSL certificate using AWS Certificate Manager. For the future, I'm implementing writers' profiles so that everyone can see what each writer is working on currently. I'm implementing voting systems so that people can choose actually which chapter will be added to the story. And I'm implementing the chat so that active writers can discuss all the stories that they're adding to the platform. So I'm always available to talk about tech. I'm available for work, so please reach out and we'll discuss all that. Yeah. Thank you so much.